Hey guys, I have a ton of, well, not a ton, but a good amount of stuff that I want to kind of haul and do little reviews on, so I'm going to do it this way and say what I think because I've tried everything, and if there's something you want me to do a full video on, just comment down below and I can do that. Trying to hide the fact that my hair is like 9 different shades right now and I have like an inch of roots, so I'm trying to get it to fade as much as I can because I'm so sick of the red and it's like holding on and doesn't want to go. I don't know, I don't think straightening my hair was the best idea because now you can see even more how many different shades it is, but I can't do the hair color stripper stuff because that's just like, it hates my hair hates it, and whenever I use that stuff, it's like I may as well have bleached my hair 5 times in a row because it feels awful. So I'm trying to fade it as much as I can before I do a different color, and the problem is I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I have a little box here with all the recent stuff I've bought and my thoughts on it. The only thing I haven't used yet was this that I showed in my, I think it was my favorites video because I bought this for the container and I still haven't used it because it's just weird to me. It's a face mask that you're supposed to sleep in, and I don't know, I wouldn't be able to sleep with this on my face and get all gooey and stuff on my pillow, so that was the first thing. And then this was also in my favorites, the Pharmacy Skin Dew. This is a hydrating facial mist and setting spray, and it is just, I have tried a lot of setting sprays and this one is just like awesome for oily skin. It does have like a plant scent to it, but that's because all the pharmacy line is made with natural stuff and everything is derived from plants in their line. So they have face masks, they have moisturizer, they have face wash, which I love. It's like a powder and it foams up really nice. So this is their Skin Dew setting spray. You can use it before you do your makeup, like wash your face and moisturize, and then use this to like lock all the moisture in, or you can also use it to set your makeup, or you can do both, but I like it to set my makeup. Then I got the Kimchi eyeshadow from Sugar Pill. I had to grab this color because it's so pretty. It's a matte, like aqua. It's the best way to describe it. Absolutely love this color. I love Sugar Pill eyeshadows. They're all like ridiculously pigmented, especially their pressed ones. So I'm going to show you guys this one. Look at that crazy color. This is definitely a color I don't think I'm going to wear that often, but I figured I would use it mostly like on the lower lash line, not the waterline, but like underneath for a pop of color. So that's Kimchi. What else did I want to do next? I got this set of 2 Velveteens from Lime Crime. I know you either love them or you hate them. I like some of their stuff, so I wanted to grab this because I really liked these colors. This is the I Have 2 Nude set, and it comes with a nude that's called Marshmallow and a really, really dark black and purple called Raven. And I mainly got these to mix together actually because one of the last videos I did with Steven, I don't remember which one it was. I'm pretty sure it's already uploaded, but I had Marshmallow on mixed with like a tiny drop of this, and it makes this really pretty like mauve-y plum shade. I don't know, but I like the two together, so I'm going to show you real quick what they look like. And these are the only Lime Crime liquid lipsticks I have now because when the whole controversy started, I got rid of them, and then I was kind of kicking myself because I liked them a lot, and now these are the 2 that I have. So their liquid lipsticks are very watery and liquidy, but they last super long. So these are the 2 shades. That is Marshmallow and that is Raven. And then mixed together, put like the tiniest bit of Raven in there with the Marshmallow shade. I like that they're this liquidy because they take a while to dry, so you can mix them and have it be all seamless. So that is the two mixed together. Really, really like that combination. Actually, I wish they would just make a color like that so I wouldn't have to bother mixing them. But the Raven shade does stain, so just keep that in mind. It's like super long lasting. Alright, so that is the Velveteens. And then I had ordered from Sephora and I got this little benefit set. I had a code for it and it comes with, what do you have? The Do the Hula, which is like a little self-tanner thing, I guess. I haven't even looked at this yet. And it comes with the sponge, a little sponge to apply, and 0 tan lines all over body bronzer. So maybe this isn't self-tanner. What is Do the Hula? Soft matte liquid bronzer for face. Okay, that's what that is. It's a soft matte bronzer for the face, which I would probably never use because I never use bronzer. And then there's something else in here. This is their Hula bronzer, I believe. So it's just a little plastic compact. Yep, that's what that is. That one actually looks light enough for me, so I might try that. But I'm not into like self-tanning or anything, so I might give that to someone else. That's that. And then we get into the big stuff. I don't really need to do the Swamp Queen palette because I already have a video on this, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I had to disable the comments on that video because it was freaking ridiculous how many people were being rude just because I said there should have been a green in it. I did not say there should have been a neon green or anything. I meant like a mossy green to go with the whole gator thing. That's all I meant. And I got attacked, basically, is why the comments aren't allowed on that video anymore, because it was just ridiculous. Like, I'm afraid to even talk about that palette anymore because of that. Then I got, and this is beautiful and gorgeous and like ridiculously awesome, the Becca and Jaclyn Hill face palette. This sold out super fast, so I was lucky that I got it because I almost forgot that it launched that day. But like everybody's been saying, this is a super heavy duty feeling palette without being actually heavy. And it's got like the, I believe she said this was meant to be like confetti. And then you have a little insert. The only bummer about this is the colors aren't printed on the actual palette, but they are on the back. So you have, let's see if I remember the names, I gotta look at this thing. Rosé Spritz, which is like a rosy pink with a gold sheen in it. You have Amaretto, which is kind of doable for a bronzer on my skin tone if I use it light enough. It's pretty much matte. And then Pamplemousse, I believe is how this one's pronounced. This one is insanely pigmented. It's a corally pink and it's super pretty. Then you have Champagne Pop, which everybody knows, and Prosecco Pop, which is, I appreciate that Jaclyn Hill in her video said that if you're pale it's going to look straight up yellow on you, but mixing the two together is, oh, it's such a gorgeous highlight color. So I'm going to swatch the blushes really fast. Like I said, I'm just trying to get everything into one video. So the Rosé Spritz, so pretty. This is like an awesome summer blush. And then you have the Amaretto, which again, total bronzer shade on pale people. And then the Pamplemousse is that shade. Very like corally pink. That's just a very light swatch and it's insanely pigmented. And then I will swatch Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop next to each other so you can see the difference. Champagne Pop is that nice champagne shade that we all know and love. This is Champagne Pop and this is Prosecco Pop, so you can definitely see the yellowish gold tone to it. So swatching them right next to each other so you can see the difference. Champagne and Prosecco. And I'm going to mix them together over here so you can see how pretty they look together. It kind of just turns Champagne Pop more golden without being super yellow because you're mixing them together. So it's just really pretty. I've been using this on my cheekbones since I got this palette. Look how pretty that is. Awesome, awesome. So I really enjoy this palette so far. I highly recommend this one. It's got an awesome mirror as well, which everybody has been saying, and that is totally true because it's like super clear and crisp and just high quality all around. So I really, really love this palette. I'm glad I grabbed it. They are supposed to be restocking it, and I have no idea when. So I know it's limited edition and it's not a permanent thing, but then Jeffree Star, the last two things here. So I got one of the Skin Frosts. I almost bought all four and I stopped myself because I was like, I don't know how they're gonna be. I'm never gonna use the green one as an actual highlight, but now I kind of wish I had gotten that one. First of all, like everybody says, look how big this is. It's like ridiculous. So the fact that these are $29, I do feel like you're getting your money's worth because it's huge. The packaging is very Jeffree. It's just pink plastic and then giant mirror on the inside that takes up the whole inside of the lid. And then the color I got was Ice Cold, which is the white one. In person, it looks like it's like champagne-y almost, but it's definitely reads as a white when you apply it. So the thing with these, well, with this is, I did not expect it to feel the way that it feels. It's got a much drier texture than what I thought it was gonna have. I thought it was gonna be like the Becca face products, which are super smooth and creamy, and I mean, it's not chunky, but it's so hard to explain the texture of this. It feels dry, but then it acts like a cream almost, because if you can see, it's stuck to my finger, and then when I swatch, I have like shimmer all over me, but then when I swatch it, it's like, see how it like clumps up? So I don't know, I've been going very lightly with it and it's been working that way, but it's almost like it's hard to blend out because it acts like a cream like that. See, if I try to blend over here, it's just still very pigmented and doesn't really sheer out. And that was just using what was on my finger, and there's still a ton on my finger. So I do love the color. It's just a little harder to work with than what I was expecting. I have it on today. That is all I have on for a highlighter today because I wanted to show you guys. It is really pretty, especially on pale skin. It's just a little bit more difficult to work with than I was hoping. I use the Real Techniques setting brush. Usually this is all I ever use for highlighting, and it worked pretty well to keep it sheer enough. I do like a crazy highlight, but like if I were to do it with my finger, that would be way too much because it is very pigmented. And actually, another thing with Jaclyn Hill, she mixed this with Champagne Pop and it looked gorgeous. So I actually, while I'm thinking of that, I want to do that right now and show you guys, because I haven't done that on my face yet and I really want to. So I will add Champagne Pop over the top. Oh, it looks so pretty because it just brings that white down a notch and makes it like a lighter version of Champagne Pop. So that's the two mixed together. Definitely gonna have to wear that on my face tomorrow because that's gorgeous. Alright, let's get the rest of this shimmer off my hands. And then the other thing, of course, I have to talk about this, the Beauty Killer palette. I don't know how I got this because it sold out like right away, but which was weird because I checked the site later in the day and it was still on there at like 1 o'clock, but maybe that was just a glitch. So you have, this is very similar to like the Dose of Colors Hidden Treasures palette. It's very thin, it's pretty big though, and it has a magnetic closure, and it's cardboard. doesn't feel too flimsy or anything. Like, I wouldn't be afraid of this getting broken if I traveled with it. The eyeshadows are huge. I will say that right off the bat. So again, $45. You are getting a lot for your money compared to a lot of other companies, because when I first heard he was doing a palette, I fully expected it to be like $60 or above, because like the Dose of Colors one was what, $52 for an indie company. And then my first reaction when he first showed the colors, I was like, those don't go together whatsoever. But then once I saw his video and he kind of broke them into quads, it made a lot more sense. But again, this was super hyped up, and I'm not like over the moon for it. I like it, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna like get into that in a minute. If you watch Vintage or Tacky's video, or Tara Babies on YouTube, I agree with both of them that a lot of these shadows could have been more finely milled, and they definitely would have benefited from that and probably been super amazing. But that being said, the first one I swatched when I got it was Star Power, and I was super disappointed because it feels really dry. It's not like super buttery like I expected it to be. It is crazy bright pink, but it didn't swatch well when I first tried it, so I was like, ugh, and I was a little bit worried. But I have the palette on my eyes today. I have 3 shadows I think I used, or 4, and they perform so much better on the eyes than they actually swatch. So it's kind of like, don't get discouraged when you swatch it type of thing. But this is Star Power. It is a matte hot pink, really pretty color, very bold obviously, but definitely blends out easier on my eye than I would expect, because it swatches kind of chalky. And then Princess, which is this one. I'm just going to go across the top and then I'll go across the bottom. Princess is a super light, shimmery baby pink that almost kind of has a lavender tinge to it. And this is like a pearly finish. It's very, very light, but you can build it up a bit if you keep putting more on. So that's Princess. Violence is a deep purple. It kind of has a blue sheen to it. And this one has like a iridescent finish to it. Yeah, I guess it's like a blue iridescence. This one is kind of a little bit crumbly when you swatch it. Really pretty color though. I have this on the outer half of my lid today. That is Violence. And then Rich Bitch, which is a metallic gold. This is very like dry and gritty in texture, but it's super pigmented, so as long as it works, I can't complain about it much. But when I was first swatching them, I was very worried that they weren't going to work that well on the eyes. But I mean, this one swatches okay, so. And then Courtney, which is probably the one I'm going to get the most use out of. This is like the perfect transition shade for me. It's just a matte, light tan shade. It is what I used as a transition shade today. This one has that buttery consistency that I thought all the mattes in this palette would have. That's what that one looks like. And it's just, it blends nicely, and it's like the perfect transition shade. And it was named after Rose McGowan's character in the movie Jawbreaker, which I love, so that gives it extra points. Now for the bottom row, we have Expensive, which is another one that's kind of dry. It's a shimmery teal that has like teal and green glitter in it. That's what that one looks like. Oh, I kind of swatched it upside down, but hopefully you can see. Really pretty color. Confession is a metallic It's not as metallic as Rich Bitch, but it's definitely a metallic rust color, and this one has a really nice consistency. It's very smooth and creamy feeling. So that's that one. Vanity, which is this deep, I thought it was like a deep brown, but I swear I see like a tinge of purple in there. Again, this is a matte, but it's got a very dry texture to it, but it is pigmented and blends nicely, so that's what that one looks like. And then China White, which is another matte. This is a matte cream color. It is not a stark white. Definitely has a creaminess to it like the Courtney color, but it's not very pigmented. It's kind of like if you use it with a fluffy brush, it tends to just blend away. You're probably not going to be able to. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. But this is one that kind of doesn't benefit from being soft like that because it just blends away if you're using a blending brush with it. And then the most fun color in here is Black Rainbow, which is a matte black, and it has rainbow glitter, and it totally reminds me of a pressed version of Sugar Pill's Stella pigment, which is like the most insane black I've ever used. So this one has a pretty decent consistency. It's super pigmented, like this is a crazy black. And the best part about this is the fact that the glitter doesn't really like dust off or blow away. Can you see the glitter? I hope you can see. I'm trying to get it to hit the light. And then look at how pigmented this is. Craziness. Can you see the majestical rainbow glitter in there? So I love that color, mainly because I love anything with rainbow glitter in it. But that is it. I do like the palette. Just same thoughts as, like I said, Vintage or Tacky said, that a couple of these could have definitely benefited from being more finely milled. Just because the texture was kind of off to what I thought it was going to be, but it is really nice, and when it comes back, I'm sure it'll sell out again. But for the size, for $45, it's definitely worth it. Like, I'm not knocking it, because at first I was pissed because when I was swatching them and they weren't swatching that great, I was like, why did everybody hype this up so much? But it performs much better than it swatches, so I do have to point that out. But that's everything in my little haul here. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna have to make a separate video for any of this stuff, because hopefully I got into enough detail. But like I said, let me know if you want separate videos on anything. I will talk to you guys in my next video.